Every AI model is a product of its training data. Long before a single prompt is answered, decisions about what data to collect and how to process it have already shaped everything that model will ever do. Today, we're exploring the invisible supply chain of AI. To build the intelligence we see in modern large language models, developers require a staggering amount of text. To hit these numbers, hand-picking sources is impossible. Instead, the pipeline typically draws from 4 massive buckets. The first and largest bucket is web scraping. These are automated crawls of the public internet. While it provides the volume needed, it has a low trust profile because there is no central curator, no version control, and content can change after collection. The second bucket is licensed datasets. This is data purchased from platforms like Reddit or Meta. While these have a medium trust profile, the terms are often unclear, and the original users rarely consented to their data being used for AI training. Then we have synthetic data, content generated by one AI to train another, and internal corpora, which are an organization's own knowledge bases. These internal sources have the highest trust, but carry direct liability if mishandled. This reliance on varied sources brings us to the problem of provenance. Data provenance is the ability to answer 3 simple questions. Where did it come from? When was it collected? And has it been modified since? In most AI supply chains today, the honest answer is, we don't fully know. Most major models are trained on datasets of datasets, huge composites where the original attribution and history have been lost or never recorded. The Data Provenance Initiative audited over 1,800 datasets and found a shocking reality. Over 70% of licenses were listed as unspecified. Of those that were labeled, 66% were miscategorized, usually listed as more permissive than they actually were. One of the most direct consequences of this undocumented scraping is that personally identifiable information, or PII, ends up baked into model weights. Once it's there, it is almost impossible to remove. Medical records, emails, even political views are swept up. This sits in direct tension with privacy laws like the EU's GDPR, which requires data minimization. The logic of more data is always better in pre-training often overrides the requirement to only collect what is necessary. The danger is concrete. Scans of web archives like Common Crawl have found thousands of live API keys and passwords. With a clever prompt, a model can be coaxed into surfacing this training content near verbatim. This isn't a bug. It's a consequence of what went in. We also face the inheritance problem. Most organizations don't build their own models from scratch. They use pre-trained ones. But if that original black box was contaminated or manipulated upstream, the organization unknowingly inherits all those risks. Decisions made during model building, like overfitting, quantization, and federated learning, each introduce distinct security risks. Without an audit trail, these vulnerabilities remain invisible until they are exploited. So how do we fix this? The industry is moving toward the ML BOM, a documented inventory of every data source, license, PII category, and filtering decision. It's the AI equivalent of the software bill of materials that became standard practice. Think of the ML BOM as a transparency label. It allows organizations to verify exactly what went into the model before they deploy it. It moves us from trusting a compiled black box to having a measurable, auditable supply chain. For any organization, the data supply chain is just as real and exploitable as a software supply chain. Right now, it's almost entirely invisible. Adopting the ML BOM is a critical step toward proactively addressing these risks. Let's recap. We've seen how every AI is a product of its data, the risks of web scraping and PII leakage, and the solution through transparency and documentation. Understanding this chain is the foundation of secure AI. Navigating the AI boom requires more than just knowing how to use the tools. It requires understanding where they come from. By staying informed, you have the foundation to build a more secure future. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive into the AI supply chain. In our next episode, we'll explore how to defend against these hidden traps. Subscribe to stay informed and secure.